Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters and debunkers.
G'day everybody, where's Wally here? Well, guess what? Pookie is back in full force of all his stupidity. But, as always, his videos are kind of long and it's going to take me a little while to get through this one. It's about 20-something minutes. I know what, just to amuse myself, I'm going to have a perceive and believe bet. Which one do you think is going to come out on top? As in, which one will Nick say the most in his attempts at neuro-linguistic programming? Have a guess. I'm going to run a little counter up here in the corner. Started at 0 and here we go.
In a few moments we'll have a look at part of this video recently put out by Globe Earth proponent Wolfie 6020. Flat Earthers are somehow stupid or do not have the cognitive ability to believe in this perception or model that we are given, push the globe earth belief, and refuse to acknowledge in fact it is nothing more than a belief in a concept, a very dogmatic belief, because actually what is bias when it comes to someone who believes dogmatically that they live on a globe. This dogmatic belief when we look at some photographs taken by Wolfie. But first, let's just go and have a look at what I mean by the cognitive bias that we will see in the video that we'll play in a second.
Illusionary superiority, hey Nick? Well, isn't this just like dunning-kruger all over again? Someone let you loose on Wikipedia again so you can cherry pick something which you think is going to save you. Good luck with that, Nick. You know how well it worked out last time with dunning-kruger? Here, let me remind the new subs, because they probably haven't seen this. This is classic gold, funny as stuff from Pookie.
Fractured escape. Dunning-kruger has two learning curve. When you come out of the indoctrination centers, you're stuck on MT. Stupid. MT? Stupid? MT. I'm not sure what you mean by MT. Whatever.
Okay, so this is quite important because obviously, as we've already said, nobody has a problem in believing that we live on a globe. To perceive and believe that we live on a globe is nothing special, but to believe and perceive it only in that way and not be able to perceive it in any other way really is a dogmatic cult-like belief. It's quite interesting here because it goes on to, and that's exactly what we have here. We have stories and explanations to go with this globe earth belief, and of course they would love to have us all believe that this is the truth, that we live on a spinning globe, and it's also believed that we are smart if we can believe or perceive this, and we are has been converted into this imaginary spherical earth, which of course can only ever be represented by this plastic ball here, because no one has ever seen the earth from this point of view.
Hey Nick, when you say that no one has actually ever seen it from this point of view, do your followers actually believe you? I don't think they do. Surely not. How could they? I mean, this would be the point where I'd poke you with Himawari, Discover, ISS,
whatever.
So let's hear from Wolfie himself. You have to employ cognitive dissonance to believe in this globe with poles at the so-called top and bottom, while also holding the belief or concept that there is. But the problem is that Wolfie here believes that some people, of course, if you are to perceive or imagine yourself on a globe, then down is of course towards the center of that globe.
Oh Nick, this is frames of reference, mate. Do you not even understand that? I think you better find the wiki page on that one. Because up and down is only in relation to that little ball you're holding in your hand in front of you. Now, if you're floating freely in space, up and down really isn't going to have any meaning.
Whatever.
Likewise, if you draw a circle on a piece of paper, then down is always going to be towards the center of that globe. the challenge here is not to understand the concept. The challenge is to prove that if you go from, say, somewhere up north to the equator or Australia, do you physically become perpendicular or even upside down compared to or in relation to the person that was up north? That is what has never ever been proven or measured.
Okay, Nick, here's a little experiment that's not even a thought experiment. This is one I did on my channel a few weeks ago. So, you want to know, how do we know which way our feet are pointing? Okay, look, it's very easy. Say, let's all look at a distant object. I don't know, let's just pick something like the moon. Why don't we all look at the moon, and what do we see? Which way is the moon facing? Now, is there any correlation between the way the moon is facing and our latitude? Surely that would tell us exactly what you were just postulating there, Nick. So, if the moon appears to rotate depending on where we're standing on the globe, doesn't that just prove your point that you were asking? So didn't I just beat you there, Nick? Didn't I just prove the point that you were very much asking? So it's demonstrable, it's scientific, it's all done in black and white. I think you better pop over to my channel again, Nick, and have a look. Links in the description as always.
Whatever.
Wolfie assumes that those of us who question or demand the physical proof of this concept are stupid. It's not because we cannot perceive it. It's because we can perceive it, and we can also perceive it in many other ways. We can perceive how any model can be created, that those of you who believe this as your absolute truth, there is no change in the direction of down. And again, it's a matter of perception rather than so of course, when it comes to the geometry of a sphere, you would have to believe that the moment you rise up above the surface, when you're looking straight ahead at eye level, then the surface will drop away from your eye level. Now, Wolfie has this photograph here taken through a heads-up display.
Oh, HUDs, Nick. Are you really going to go on about HUDs yet again? Didn't you learn your lesson last time? It was kind of a debacle. For those who don't know, Nick tried to tell Wolfie that he did not understand HUDs, you know, chip shop owner versus pilot. We know all that. But he brought out some documentation. Good boy, Nick. Problem is, it was a seating manual. It was nothing to do with HUDs. It was how to get your seat, how to get your backside in the right spot in relation to the HUD. Sorry, Nick, not good enough. Try again.
Whatever.
And he refers to the line on this heads-up display as eye level, and therefore is able to say or make the claim that, you see, eye level has risen above the horizon, we therefore live on a globe.
Oh, Nick, all your time spent with the elephants, mate. You've forgotten what's going on here. You've been taught all of this. Look, the heads-up display does show exactly eye level straight out the front of the plane. It knows what altitude it is. It also knows the pitch of the plane. It allows for that. It knows everything about the plane. There's about 30 different inputs going into that display and showing the eye line at exactly the right pixel location for the pilot to observe it. You know, the fact that this works is exactly why planes don't smack into the ground or smack into each other. And on that point, now if you think the plane here is at 47,000 feet, what would you expect to see if there was another plane, say 20 kilometres in front of Wolfie, that was at say 46,000 feet? It's lower. I'm going to go and find that video right now.
Which was taken on the flight yesterday from Australia to Hawaii just before sunrise. We were crossing the path of another aircraft coming in the opposite direction, and we saw him on the Traffic Collision Avoidance System, the TCAS, which also confirms that he was 1,000 feet below our altitude. And there you can see the -10. That is showing he's 1,000 feet below our aircraft altitude. We were at 41,000 feet, so he was at 40,000 feet. And there you can see He's almost 25 miles away from us. What I did then was move up to the head-up display. You can clearly see the aircraft head-up display horizon line is above the visible Earth horizon, as is the velocity vector, which is showing the direction of flight. What I then do is turn on the enhanced vision system, and that confirms where the real Earth horizon is. This is just clear sky. The ground is where the head-up display EVS is showing it to be, and that matches the visible horizon. Now this aircraft, remember, is 1,000 feet below us, and we can see him very clearly above the visible Earth horizon. There's his navigation light, clearly above, and for several seconds he remains visibly above the horizon.
So there we have it, Nick. Wolfie was at 41,000 feet. The approaching plane was 1,000 feet lower, and yet it was still way up near the eye level line. So it was only when it passed below his wing that you could see that it was down below the Earth sky horizon, which is exactly what you would expect a plane that was 1,000 feet lower than you to do. An extremely good proof that the Earth sky horizon is visibly and observably below eye line, because eye line has to be above a plane that is lower. Because we know Wolfie was definitely not rising or falling, he was cruising at 41, and we know the other plane was cruising at 40,000 feet. They're way out in the middle of the ocean, no airports to go up and down to, so I'm thinking you're busted.
Whatever.
So if you go and watch videos of the horizontal line, the horizon line on a heads-up display, you will see that this line moves up and down along this scale. It doesn't always stick to the horizon. It's not supposed to, okay, because mathematically it is representing geometry, and which governs perspective as well as a spherical model Earth.
Oh, so Nick, mathematically you realise it works out. So I guess Wolfie telling you you've got dyscalculia all the time has finally sunk in a little bit, hey? So you realise you can't diss the maths. You know the maths works, but you just say, oh, it's all of itself. But of course the plane isn't flying on a flight simulator. The plane is flying in real life, so it has to actually represent exactly what the plane's doing. Otherwise, we're dead.
Whatever.
So let's go back and have a look at that on the Walter Bislin's calculator, and we'll see proofs that can be very accurately illustrated when you use geometry. But here we have this assumed side-on view, which we've never had. We can never ever measure any curvature on the horizontal, converted into this curvature calculator here, which doesn't relate to real-life observations whatsoever.
So Nick, this is a bit of a two for one. Let's have a look at Walter Bislin's, yet another smart wally that I know, model matching Lake Pontchartrain. And I think you'll find that it matches it precisely. So there you go, you have the model actually does match reality. And that other claim you made about nowhere can we observe the curvature, I guess it matches that too, doesn't it, Nick? So just check out the Lake Pontchartrain model and check out the picture via reality. So do you get this, Nick? Model, reality, model, reality, model, reality. Too easy, hey?
Whatever.
But that is how the heads-up display works. As the aircraft gains altitude, the heads-up display will automatically bring up the horizontal line on the heads-up display and create this gap between itself and the visible horizon, regardless of where the horizon actually is in the eyes of the observer.
And there's a very good reason for that, Nick, because this is exactly what happens in reality. It is modelling reality. It's not a pretend model, it's a reality model.
Whatever.
Okay, so Wolfie has in fact proven here there is no difficulty in understanding the concept, and we realize that people like you have to make all sorts of false accusations and dream up proofs in order to cling on to your globe earth belief. Thank you very much.
Okay, Emma, show me where Daddy lives. That's right, Australia.
So, Nick, your job is go and have a look at my moon field rotation video and see what you can make up about that, please. We'll stand round waiting. Or not.